A very good day to all of you. In the lesson today, we are going to talk about another important topic in reading skills, which is identifying main ideas and supporting details. The ability to identify main ideas and supporting details in a reading text, like in a journal article, in magazine articles, in websites, articles in a book, is very important because it will help us to quickly identify the important information that we need. For example, if let's say we are doing our assignments, a written assignment, or we need to prepare for a presentation, so by being able to quickly identify the main ideas that we need to use in our presentation and in our written assignment, we can do the job quickly without wasting a lot of time reading every single word and every single page. By being able to identify the supporting details, we can get all the factual information such as statistics, numbers, percentage, examples, also quickly without having to waste time reading every single word and every single sentence. So by being able to identify main ideas and supporting details, we can understand a reading text and article better, quicker, and we can save our time when doing or looking for information for the use of our assessments and presentations. The other reason why we have to be able to identify main ideas and supporting details is because um, we want to be a literate reader. We want to be a critical reader. So we do not just want to accept what the author of the article wants to tell us, but we want to think on ourselves. We cannot just simply read and accept what is being told, but we want uh, to be independent, to think whether what is being told is correct or incorrect, is acceptable or not acceptable, so that we will not be cheated by people easily, so that we will not be cheated and manipulated by the author of the article easily. So we can think on our own by uh, having the knowledge of how to identify main ideas and supporting details. So first, we are going to look into identifying main ideas. There are three things that we need to take note when we are identifying main ideas in a paragraph or in a reading text. The first thing that we need to do is we need to identify the topic of the text or the topic of the paragraph. This is quite easy because normally reading text or an article will have a topic, the heading. So that is the topic. Secondly, we need to identify the stated main idea. So what is stated, what the author states, um, what the author states in the article, telling the purpose of the author writing that article. So that is the stated main idea. It is normally in a sentence, of course. And the third thing is identify the implied main idea. So implied main idea is just the opposite of stated main idea. If stated main idea is what the author writes, if is what the author states in the article, in the writing, in a sentence, the purpose of the author writing that article, the purpose of the article, what the article is all about, implied main idea is not mentioned in the article. So we will have to think what is the indirect agenda or reason the author writes the article. So it is the hidden agenda, the hidden purpose, or the hidden reason the author writes the article. That we'll have to imply, we'll have to think critically. So it is not stated. So let us take a look at how to identify the topics of a paragraph or an article or a reading text. This is an example. The topic is debate over gun control in the US. So this is quite easy because the topic is given in a heading like this. So the topic is debate over gun control in the US. So once we have identified the topic, this gives us a general idea of what the paragraph or the article is all about. Then once we know what the topic is, then we can try to identify the stated main idea and the implied main idea. But not all paragraphs, not all articles, they have their own topic in a heading like this. For example, this paragraph, the topic is bowl. So the word is bowl like this. So easily we can know that this paragraph talks about diabetes. So first, before we the first step to understand a paragraph or an article is by knowing what the topic is, because that will help us to know generally what the paragraph is talking about. Sometimes there is no indication, bold words and topic heading like this, but we can still identify the topic of the paragraph or the article by looking for repetitive words like this. So some paragraphs, some articles, when they have no headings or subheadings or bold words, they have repetitive words. So this would suggest that this is the topic of the paragraph or the article. So in this case, the topic is homeschooling and the paragraph or the article is talking about homeschooling. So that is how we identify the topic of a paragraph or an article. Now that we have identified the topic of the paragraph or the article, we can proceed with identifying the stated main idea. So there are two types of main ideas. One is stated, one is implied. So stated and implied are the opposite. So stated main idea again means what the author states the purpose of the article is, or the reason the author writes the article, that is stated in the article or in the paragraph. Implied, it is not stated, it is not written there, so it has to be in a sentence. So when people ask you what is what is the stated main idea of this paragraph, so you don't say the stated main idea is diabetes. So that is the topic. Stated main idea has to be in a sentence. So the stated main idea of this passage is that diabetes is a disorder in which the body is not able to produce or use insulin as it should. And the stated main idea of this paragraph is that homeschooling is on the rise and today more than 2 million children are taught at home. Or you can also use your own words. You can say the stated main idea is homeschooling is getting more and more popular nowadays. So the topic is homeschooling and the stated main idea is homeschooling is getting more and more popular nowadays. The topic is diabetes for this paragraph, and the stated main idea is that diabetes is a type of health problem or disorder where the body is not able to discrete or produce insulin as a normal body would. And the same goes to this paragraph. So the topic is debate over gun control in the US, and the stated main idea is that what about the debate? So the debate over gun control in the US has been a topic of debate or contention for the past 10 years. So that is the issue. That is what the author wants to talk about in this paragraph that the author states. clearly that the stated main idea is the debate over gun control in the US has been a topic of debate for the past 10 years. So the stated main idea can be anywhere in the paragraph or in the article. So you'll have to identify what you think would be the stated main idea of a paragraph or an article. So it is now time to identify the implied main idea. The implied main idea is the opposite of stated main idea, and it is not clearly or directly stated in any one sentence in the paragraph or in the text or in the article. So it is only suggested or inferred by the author. So sometimes, so the implied main idea is the hidden thing, the hidden point that the author wants to tell the readers without telling it directly for many reasons, especially in a political article. So they don't say directly because they might be sued by the politicians, but they tell things indirectly. So when people read, people can understand that this is actually what the author wants to tell. Readers have to read the entire paragraph and examine individual details to see how they relate to the common thread. So that means you'll have to read everything to understand what the implied main idea is. So you can pause this video and read this paragraph and try to decide what is the indirect point that the author wants to tell by writing this paragraph. So what can you infer? So we can say that indirectly in this paragraph, the author wants to tell us that the sale of guns must be closely monitored to prevent the arbitrary and the senseless loss of innocent lives. So that means the government has to really think about controlling the selling of guns in the United States to avoid more people being killed. It is not directly mentioned here in this paragraph, but it says a lot of people are dead because of people being shot, a lot of criminals using guns and killing people. And then the debate has been going on for many years. So what the author is trying to imply that the government has to take an action, control the sale of guns to avoid many people being killed. So that is the implied. What the author is trying to tell without telling it directly here in this paragraph. What about the second paragraph? Can you pause the video and think what is the implied main idea of this paragraph? So we know that the topic of this paragraph is diabetes, and the stated main idea is that diabetes is a type of disorder, health problem, where the body cannot produce insulin. But the implied main idea is that the author of this paragraph is trying to tell us, we can guess that he or she is trying to tell us that diabetes is a life-threatening disease that must be taken seriously, because statistics shows that 17 million people suffer from diabetes and 5.9 million people are unaware. They do not know that they have diabetes. So this is what we can imply. So the reason why this paragraph or the article is written by the author is that he or she is trying to tell us that diabetes is a life-threatening disease that must be taken seriously. So the same goes to the third paragraph. We know that the topic is homeschooling, and we know that the stated main idea is that homeschooling is getting more and more popular nowadays. But what is implied here but not stated, what we call as the implied main idea, is that when we read the whole paragraph, we know that not many people agree with the idea of homeschooling. So those are some examples of how we can identify main ideas by doing these three things, which is first identify the topic, then identify the stated main idea, followed by identify the implied main idea. So let us check out one example of an article and try to look for the topic, the stated main idea, and the implied main idea. So this is an article from the website nationalgeographic.com, and the title is The Pandemic Pushed Cars Out of This Historic Scottish City. So the city is Edinburgh. So that is the topic. So the topic of this article is pandemic pushed cars out of this historic Scottish city. So we know that by knowing the topic, we know that it is all about the pandemic and also the availability of cars and other transportation in the city. So the stated main idea is that if we take a look at this article, we would know that this could actually be the stated main idea. What the author wants to tell in this article. So the stated main idea is that the COVID-19 pandemic has caused the prettier streets in Edinburgh to be closed down to motorized traffic. So that means that is the stated main idea. So this article is going to talk about how the pandemic has caused the roads to be empty in streets in Edinburgh and also in other places under the UNESCO sites. So that is the stated main idea, what this article is talking about. The pandemic has caused the streets to be empty of cars and other transportation. If we go through the article, we can see that the implied main idea is that the article has actually talk negatively about many cars on the road because it will affect the livelihood of the people in the town. And the article actually gives us an idea that the pandemic is actually doing us a good thing by keeping the cars away from the road so that the air and the environment will be more natural and will be more fresh, will be fresher. So for example, if we can see here, Edinburgh's old and new towns help the city attract 5 million visitors annually. And there is this festival brings 2 million people annually, and such popularity brings an injection of energy and economic benefits because a lot of people going to Edinburgh because of its the town of heritage under United Nations and because of this festival. However, with a resident population of just 26 million people, the great number of visitors make the cities in a core one of the worst hotspots for over tourism globally. So because there are too many tourists, it has become what we call as over tourism. So it is bad for the city. So it caused the city to be polluted, over traffic, so a lot of bad things happening. So actually this article is giving an idea that the pandemic is actually doing a good thing to the city, keeping the cars and the visitors away and make the city more a better place to live. So by going through this article, we can see that the implied main idea is too many cars on the road will make a tourism city, a tourism place, not livable. And we should actually think about um, keeping away transportations from streets, especially tourist places, so that it will be more livable and a better place for tourism. So that would be the implied main idea. Let us take a look at one last example of an article. See, this is a local article on, and the topic is political parties exist to serve people. So this is the topic. So we know that this article is talking about political parties, politicians, and also if we can see the word COVID-19 and pandemic is repetitively um, repeated in this article. So it talks about politicians and the COVID-19 situation. What is the stated main idea? Now that we know the topic, what is the stated main idea? So we can see here the stated main idea is that politicians should focus on the efforts on national reconciliation. So this is the stated main idea, or you can take the whole sentence. There is a call for political ceasefire amidst COVID-19 pandemic, and politicians should focus on the people instead of on politics. So that is what the stated main idea is, what the purpose of this article, telling politicians to stop uh, politicking and focus more on the people. So if you go through the article, you would see that it is giving us an idea that politicians are selfish, because if you can see from the sentences given in this article, it says that it is vital for political parties to come to their senses, to think logically on why they are here, which is to serve the people and not to seize power at all costs, not to fight for power. So the blame game, they are blaming each other, and then and there are other things that they do, taking advantage of the situation to gain support, and then so this gives an idea that the implied idea that politicians are selfish. They don't really think for the people, but they actually think only on how to actually gain power to control the country. So, and it ends with political parties exist to serve people and not itself. So the implied main idea is that politicians don't really do what they are supposed to do, which is to serve the people. Instead, they are being selfish and focus on only grabbing power but not serving the people. So that is all about identifying main ideas, and in next lesson we are going to talk about how to identify the main detail, the supporting details.